Hello and welcome to The Green Door Life. My name is Shannon Morse and I'm here with my lovely friend Christine Lee, who is a beautiful performer. She's not able to perform as much right now, maybe in the comfort of her own living room, but she's here today to talk about how her modality of teaching stretching and contortion and conditioning for aerialists and circus performers has really just kind of started to flourish in this time, and how that's kind of helped her to navigate her own well-being during shelter in place. So welcome, my lovely Christine. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Shannon.
Yes, absolutely. It's always great to see your face. And let's just kind of give the audience an idea of who you are and what you're doing right now in terms of what you're providing and the classes, and go from there.
Sure. I'm Christine Lee. As Shannon has mentioned, I've been a circus performer and instructor for about 14 years now, so a long time. I started off doing flying trapeze and then aerial and contortion and hand balancing, and I've loved every step of the journey. I have been teaching at a bunch of different schools in the Bay Area, so Circus Center, Aerial Artique, SF Pole Dance, all over the place. And before that, I was teaching internationally. And for the most part, I would say my main full-time gig has been performing, and I've loved both performing and teaching. But with what's gone down in the last month, I've had to kind of reevaluate what's the best way to provide the service and continue doing what I love doing. So I started this little thing. It's stretchwithclee.com, and it's basically kind of an informal Facebook group where I'm teaching classes. I'm teaching about 3 to 5 classes a day. A lot of this is group instruction, things like all level stretching classes, and then we've also got conditioning classes, handstand classes, and then I'm teaching a bunch of different kind of corporate events or privates and one-on-ones, or even like random groups of friends that want to have like a virtual happy hour type of thing, but in a healthy way. So I'm doing lots of different things there, and it's been amazing, actually. It's been very cool to be able to work with students from around the world. Like I actually drew this little heat map, and I have, I think, students from at least 50 different locations, which is insane. And a good portion of those are international, like New Zealand, China, France, Spain, Colombia, like all over the place. And I mean, it's weird to say that this time has been a hard time, but it's also been an enlightening time, seeing that people from around the world could do things together virtually as if there are no locations. So it's also kind of cool to see all that happen as well.
That part's been amazing. So people who may have wanted to work with you before from different areas of the world, now you guys can actually do that.
Totally. Yeah.
I feel like before, when we were so used to being, going to a class that's physical, that's close by, it was all about demographic and proximity. And now that that's been removed, we are really just taking this opportunity that was essentially always there.
Yeah.
And bringing it into a new daily practice.
Totally. It's a whole new way of thinking, of working out, of connecting. And it's so true. We've had all this technology. We've all had all of this, but we never did it. So it is interesting to think, what's going to happen hopefully after all this, right? Are people going to be doing virtual classes, and is this going to become more normalized? And I kind of hope so, actually, because there's students that I've been working with around the world that I want to continue working with, and I've heard the feedback likewise. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, hopefully we'll get out of all of this soon, but when things normalize, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that uncertainty is what everyone is feeling, right?
Yeah.
But what you're doing in terms of just creating like a structure and something that people can look forward to every day, that's an active self-care, and you get that connection and that collaboration. You get to see people's faces.
Yeah.
And just have that energy that you naturally bring to the classes, which is fun and enthusiastic, is something that I feel like spans regardless if we are doing classes in person or online. So,
yeah.
And there's a convenience factor that's unparamount.
Totally. People could just jump in during their lunch breaks or go between calls. And I mean, it's easy. It's definitely like, and people just know when the schedules are available. And when they're like, hey, I suddenly have an hour, like I'll go jump in on a stretch class or learn some handstands. Like it almost feels like the planet is Burning Man, like where everyone could exchange things in classes. And like I even put something up online with like, hey, who wants to do a trade? And I've been dropping into these capoeira classes, and that instructor's been coming into mine. So it's like this true kind of flat planet now. It's so fascinating.
Oh my gosh, it is. And I've been meaning to come into one of your classes and trying to find a time, by the way. But I've been able to train with you before in person, so I know what's going on. And so how has that kind of, just having that element in either with like teaching or doing that movement yourself, how has it supported your process through this time?
Totally. I mean, so it's kind of a funny thing where throughout my life, and I know this is the same for you, is like I'm a very purpose-driven person. Like anything I do, any job I take on, like I have to really care about the impact or the outcome. Like I have to, if I'm selling a product, I have to care about that product. So, you know, when this all first started, like I'll be honest, I was not the happiest. I'm like naturally a very happy person. I'm sure you could tell, but I went into a kind of a scary spot where I'm like, well, my career is completely crushed. Like I'm usually performing 4 to 5 times a week, and that's going to zero. My income's going to zero. My kind of purpose for training and all that is gone. All my classes are canceled. All the schools that I'm working at are laying people off because they have to close their doors. So it's, you know, it's a hard time. So that's when I thought, okay, what can I do in the meantime, right? Like, do I find a day job, or do I double down on training? Like what is it that I could do? And it actually, this wasn't even my idea. I had a few students reach out to me with, hey, can you do some virtual stretching classes? Like I really miss our Monday nights. And I was like, sure, I'll give it a try. And I like put up 2 classes online, and they filled up in like 6 minutes. And I was like, oh, people really need this. Like people are really craving movement and community, and the instructors they already know, and that familiarity. So I was like, all right, okay, I'm gonna actually start building on this. And then, you know, that went from 2 classes to 6 to like 25 to 30 classes a week. And it just happened overnight. And every single student that's come in, either somebody who I've known from before or has taken a class from me somewhere and then moved to Spain and then logged in, or that's like completely brand new, like saw it on somebody else's Facebook or Instagram story. I mean, pretty much every single thing I've heard has been like, wow, like I really needed that. Like my body feels so much better. Like my mood is better. My health feels better. And just like, I don't know how much I should talk about this person, but one student in particular, I'll leave her unnamed, but she works for, she's a paramedic, and she is on the front line, and she's seen some terrible things over the last couple of weeks. And after we finished one of our private lessons, like the girl almost started to cry. She was like, this is the happiest 30 minutes I've had in this whole month. And I started to cry, and she started to get emotional, and I was like, okay. But I was like, wow, like this is really impacting people. Like the physical endorphins and doing something that you love or doing something new makes a huge difference. So knowing that helps my students, knowing that makes me selfishly happy, because I'm like, oh, I have a purpose, and I'm able to help these people, especially these people who need it. And frankly, we all need it right now. It's been a really rewarding experience, and I'm really, really thankful that it's been happening. I'm grateful that people are coming and people are excited about it. So yeah, I'm just surprised with where I am today versus 4 weeks ago when I had no idea. And now it's like, this is kind of the new normal, and I'm totally okay with it. And I wake up in the morning excited for class, and it's just a different process, but it's going really well, and I'm really grateful for it.
It's so cool to hear, because it really is this has kind of been a conversation that I've been having with so many. We were talking about this earlier, taking some sort of experience that feels like it's a challenge, it's an obstacle, it's some sort of catastrophe that's occurring, and then really making it into something that's completely new, or maybe it's like a version of the original.
Yeah. And
then what we were talking about before with, as long as it's providing something of benefit to others, then the exchange of feel good is just all around. And I love it, because this is really what we are essentially like inviting people to look and see how to create that for themselves. How do you take this experience that is, you know, shitty?
Yeah.
And everyone has their own unique stories about what they've been experiencing, and family members, and some people are having babies, and
Yeah.
you know, it's just the most incredible and strange time. I don't even have a really solid word for it. It's devastating for certain people, and then it's almost invigorating for others. But I think as we're moving into into this virtual retreat, we're really looking to cultivate that energy that you were just talking about, which is how do you move in and kind of give yourself the space, whether it's through movement practice and feel those endorphins coming in, whether it's through breath work and meditation, or any sort of shadow work and understanding what you're being faced with while you're in shelter in place, so that you can then kind of look and see, okay, what's my own opportunity here? Like, what can I create? Like Christine. That's amazing. I had no idea you were teaching so many classes a week.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh my gosh.
More hours than I was before the quarantine. I don't know how that's the case.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, I'm
so happy.
Very grateful that people are showing up and really enjoying it and growing from it.
Absolutely. Wow, what a really awesome turnaround. Because 4 weeks is not a long time.
I know. Feels like forever, but it also feels short. I don't know. Every week seems to be going faster and faster. I'm sure you feel the same.
Yep, it's just kind of blending in with the weekend week, that follows. Amazing. Well, we're so excited to have you for Chrysalis. Yay. And I can't wait for everyone who's watching to be able to experience Christine. And I'm just so happy that we got to learn a little bit more about what you've been doing, because how cool is that? It's just incredible. And so many people get access to the gift that you're providing. And I'm so happy to hear that. So good. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we look forward to seeing you at our event. And thank you, Christine, for joining. And we will talk to everyone very soon.